afternoon, I'm Tyler Danberg. Top-ranked Ohio State visits 2-4 Wisconsin Saturday at 3:30. Hear the Ryan Day Show up next on The Fan. Center Carson Hinzman on returning to his home state.
I'm hyped. I already got about 30 tickets. I think I need another 40. So I'm trying to kind of scrounging the gas for a couple. But no, I'm super pumped to go back and play over there. I think I'm 1-1 there right now from high school. Yet we lost our state championship my freshman year, so got to beat 500.
NFL tonight, the 2-4 Bengals welcome the 4-1 Steelers in an AFC North clash at 8:15. On the ice, the 1-2 Blue Jackets host the 3-0-1 Avalanche at 7. Longtime forward Cam Atkinson will be honored for his retirement after 13 NHL campaigns. Hear it on The Fan at 6:30. Game 3 of the NLCS at 6:08. Brewers visit the Dodgers. Game 3 of the ALCS at 8:33. Mariners host the Blue Jays up 2-1. Breaking sports news, Wayne Evans on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
From Learfield, this is the Ryan Day Show, presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by the American Dairy Association Mideast on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with head coach Ryan Day and former OSU All-American Jim Lachey, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Thanks for joining us this week for Coach Day's weekly radio shows. Ohio State gets ready to go back on the road playing Saturday at Wisconsin. And, Coach, outside of a football standpoint, when a road game ends and you've put it in the win column, if you would describe that feeling of being able to go into another team's stadium, quiet the crowd, but also see the fans and the families that are supporting your team that are there.
Yeah, going on the road is a different experience. It's a great experience, though, for the team in a lot of different ways. One, when we travel on the road, it's an opportunity to avoid distractions and just be with the team. And whether it's on the bus, at the hotel, on the plane, and then, playing in the game, celebrating afterwards. When you go into a stadium like that, certainly we have great fans that travel, but, we're outnumbered. And so we kind of feel like, you have a really tight-knit group, and it can bring you together. And you have to focus a little bit more when you're on the road. So all those things are good for the growth of the team.
And we talked about that on Monday, too. The formula's working. You won 3 games in the playoffs on the road. Now you've got 2 games that you've won on the road this year. You get this stretch here where your 3rd game, and 3 games on the road out of this 4th of this month. But taking care of business, and it's just not the team. It's the whole preparation that goes into it. I know that you applauded those guys that all put this whole formula together when you go on the road, that you can have success.
Well, it starts on Sunday, and then it goes, like you said, there's a process, and our preparation, and we've gone through it before about how we go through the week, and that has to be what we're focused on. And then, to win a game, it takes all the preparation of the week. It doesn't just happen on game day. You don't just get yourself fired up to playing a game. It doesn't work that way. There's too much preparation. So, it's good for us to recognize that, get home, get in there on Sunday, point out the things that are done well, point out the things that we have to get better. And then that game goes over here because it doesn't mean anything. What we did last week means absolutely zero. And what matters is what we do and what we put in this week. And it's really the things that aren't flashy. You can't get bored with doing the same thing over and over and over again. And that's the whole idea of chopping wood and carrying water. And it goes right back to your techniques, goes right back to your pad level, goes right back to your focus, to your effort. Nothing new or extraordinary, but that's, I think, in the end, what's going to separate us. If we continue to stay focused and do the same things over and over again, but get more efficient and get better at them.
Is that a task for players early in the season or in the summer to learn how to prepare and then to sharpen that each and every week?
Yeah, you can, but it's not the same when you're playing a game week, because it's just so much different when you have the routine and the preparation of the week, and then you have to recover, from the last week, and then you have to make adjustments, and you have to grow, and then you have to continue this focus over the entire year and build. So as much as, we try to prepare them in the off season, it's just something you have to go through, and that's why experience really helps. I think it's also good for, the guys to get into the program and see how it works, see how the preparation works. Even last year, some of the freshmen and newcomers were able to come in and watch how we finished the season out. I think it gives them a reference point so that they can start in their first few games when they get going and understand what it takes.
And you can yell all you want or talk all you want, your coaches, but it comes down to your captains, your vet leadership that you have, throughout. And I think so far that's been pretty positive to the captains that you have. The guys that have played in a lot of games, can kind of pass that on and understand, hey, this is the way we do it here.
That's it. And they have to be the hardest workers and be willing to get coached hard as well. And when your best players and your leaders are your hardest workers and the coaches are willing to hold those guys just as accountable as everybody. It's easy to yell at the third string cornerback or whoever, the scout team guys, but when you're pushing the guys who are the leaders and the biggest contributors and the guys performing on the field, it holds everybody accountable because they know if that guy's doing it, if he's being held accountable, I got to do my job. So all parts of the growth of the team, but we're halfway in now, and there's a lot of things that we got to get better at. But I think to your point, the leadership's been strong so far this season. And
is in that message, is it important and is it good to see that the players understand that there are things to get better at despite the success that's come to this date?
Yeah, they know. And it's our job as coaches to make sure we point them out. It's their job to listen and take the critiquing, and that all comes with the relationship part of it. You have to know that it's coming from a place of love and a place of trust that we're pushing you and we're driving you only to make you better. And we only get better by being uncomfortable. And the minute anybody feels comfortable in the building, that's a bad sign. So we have to continually push that, and we have to fight against complacency. When you start winning games, it's easy to think, oh, that's okay or that's okay. No, it doesn't work that way. You really got to dig in and make sure that everything is being not only done the same way, but even more efficiently week in and week out.
Coach, last week you used a silent count. This week you'll use a silent count. You practice it during the week with crowd noise, simulated crowd noise, throughout the week. Did it get to the point in the second half where you can kind of get away from the silent count a little bit, or is there a determination, quarterback, hey, I don't think we need silent count anymore, or do you just stick with it?
Yeah, we kind of let Carson, our center, and Julian sort of talk to the offensive line and figure out, what's going on. There's times where you need it on third down, maybe in the red area, and then you can get away with the cadence, depending on how loud it gets. So we in practice, we've kind of gone back and forth. We've had times where it's got really loud. We've cranked it up, and they've used the cadence, so Julian and Lincoln have to really bark at them. And then there's other times where we've used the silent. So it's good to know that we have the ability to use multiple snap counts in silent or using the voice. So we'll identify what's going on in the game and go from there.
And Luke Montgomery seems to be the guy that has to look back at the quarterback and then tap Carson to let him know that everything's set. How hard is that for him?
Well, one of the things that we've learned was we felt like, and sometimes we may look into it. We have it in our package where the center puts his head between his legs and then he can pop his head up, but we feel like the best way to do it is really Carson be able to see what's going on because he's doing the communication, identifying the fronts. And if they stem the front and all those different things that come with it, we learned in some of the games, when the center has his head between his legs and he pops up and that thing changes, it's really difficult. And so, the communication has been really good between Carson and Luke. They feel comfortable with it. And Carson's communicating to Luke what's going on. As he turns, he's able to take a snapshot before and after that part of it. But make no mistake about it. I mean, that takes poise and takes discipline. It takes communication and great focus. And so it's good to see some guys who've done it before feel comfortable in that because I think they do. And I think we talked about it early on. We went to Washington. When you're going through all that, it's easy to just, sort of like start catching. You got to go attack. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get.
If you have a question for Coach Day, you can submit it to our Union Home Mortgage inbox at OhioStateBuckeyes.com to click on Ryan Day Show inbox. Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com, an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. Saturday, Ohio State is at Wisconsin. We'll be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 2 p.m. More of today's show presented by Roosters coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
Hey, Ohio State fans, are you looking to score big with your home equity? Union Home Mortgage will help you unlock the value of your home and fund the promises you've made to yourself and your family. If you need to pay off debt, have home improvements, or whatever your family needs are, visit UHM.com and score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp. is an equal housing opportunity lender, NMLS number 2229.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our low prices. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to this week's show with Ohio State head coach Ryan Day. The Buckeyes prepare to go to Madison to take on the Wisconsin Badgers on Saturday afternoon at Camp Randall Stadium. Time for our 2 Deep Report presented by Elk & Elk. Injury lawyers dedicated to every client every day. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio. And Coach, you were talking about the communication on the offensive line. Taking that even a step further, because now you've got a situation like Josh Padilla getting reps at guard as well as being the backup center. So if you would just speak on the importance of not only just the 5 starters, but everybody knowing how to get on that wavelength.
Yeah, and making sure everybody gets off on the same snap count is very important. That's probably something we don't talk enough about. When you start coming off in segments, the combination blocks can be out of whack. So something we talk about, and it's got to be an advantage for us. And so the change in the cadence can help with that. It takes focus and discipline. But you're right, everybody has to be on the same page, and especially when you're dealing with the run game, all it takes is just a little bit to be off. And so we all have to do our part, and I think that there's been a lot of positives and things we got to get better at.
And the center usually communicates with the guard. Guard passes out the tackle, and if you have a tight end on your side, you're kind of passing that call out, especially in the run game. And then sometimes in the pass game when you see it's done, or if you're going to fan, or if you're going to dual read, everybody's going to have to be. Sometimes that changes, as the defense moves around a little bit during the snap. You got to make those calls, and that communication is so important. Sometimes, and after you play with a guy long enough, he can just grunt, and you're like, yeah, I know what you mean. I see it too. But that's part of, having a familiar guy that you're used to, because you know that you're on the same page.
Yeah, because you got to work together, and that's the thing about offensive line. I mean, these guys got to be able to process information really fast, like what you just said. And whether it's a run game, pass game, multiple fronts, how you're working together, and then you have to have the physicality and toughness to put your face on somebody for 60 minutes. So it takes a guy who's not only physically tough but mentally tough and emotionally tough to bring it every week and communicate and all those things. So that's why when we evaluate anybody, but certainly offensive linemen, we have to make sure that we're bringing in the guy who has the right skill set.
Let's start with some of our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions. Taylor in Dayton, maybe tying into this a little bit. From an X&O standpoint, what's the biggest key to running the football when the defense likely knows what's coming?
Yeah, I think there's a mindset that it doesn't matter if they know what's coming. You got to rock people off the ball, and if there's an extra guy in the hole, get your pads down and run them over. Because if you don't have that mindset, you're going to find yourself in a scheme all the time, and that's not it. I feel like when we're at our best, it's like we'll let them know, hey guys, we'll run the ball right here. Why don't you try to stop us? And then from there, there's other things that come off of that. But to me, if you don't have that, I don't care if they know it's coming. Let's go. Let's rock off the ball. And now that being said, we have to make sure we have we break our tendencies and those types of things. But to me, it's a mindset, because eventually you're going to find yourself in goal line, short yardage, red zone, like we were the other day. A lot of runs that were in the tight area where we got to move people. So I think that's just as important as anything. But making sure too that we're finding ways to gain angles is important for the coaches, and that's the balance of making sure you're doing what you can do, where guys can not think a whole bunch, but also give them enough to create some big plays.
Have you been happy with the movement that you're getting on the offensive line to get into that linebacker level? Because, usually the old adage, man, if you can get the back to the linebacker's heels, he's going to make yards. He's going to get 4 or 5 yards and be one-on-one with the safety, hopefully. Yeah. Are you happy to what you're seeing with that, getting that type of movement?
Yeah, for the most part, yes. I think you've seen, for the most part, we've been efficient running the ball. But like I've said, every run, feel free to go score a touchdown or create an explosive, and that's everybody involved. It's the running backs getting to that next level and making the safeties miss. It's the wide receivers involved, digging out the safeties. All those things come into play. So I do think we've been efficient. I certainly would like to see more explosive ones, and so all things that we're working on to get better at, and everybody has to be a part of that.
Is that where it gets tied into that statement about how running backs have to sometimes be their own blockers?
Yeah, that's right. That's how it works. And I think one of the ways you evaluate a running back is yards after contact. Whether it's making a guy miss or running through contact, and that's something that we really have put an emphasis on the last couple of weeks and are charting every week.
Coach, drives per game, you're averaging 10, and that's in the hundreds in the NCAA. Plays per game, 60. That's kind of in the 120s range. It's not as high as it was in the past. When you were here with Coach Meyer calling plays, you were trying to get 80 plays a game. That's about a third less than what you're getting now. Your thoughts on that? What you're trying to do. I know it's a long year, 15 plays. At the end of the year, you want to maximize your guys and be fresh at the end of the year. But how do you manage that, or how do you look at that, on a week by week basis?
Well, I think the first thing is when you huddle, it's a different approach. You get everybody together. You can get everybody on the same page. You can call multiple things. You can get alerts. There's a lot of things that with the huddle allow us to do things. Certainly it takes signaling out of the equation. So we do feel strong about the huddle. We think it helps us. Well, you've seen us use tempo at times. There's pluses and minuses to everything. When we need to speed up the game, we have the ability to do that, and we will do that. But we want to be efficient. And, we've had the conversation about the number of plays. So if we were running 85 plays a game, we played 6 games, that's 120 snaps on each side of the ball. That's 240 snaps. So you can do the math on that. We have limited rosters nowadays, and so you can't sign guys off for waivers. So that's all taken into consideration. That being said, in our last 2 drives last week, we went 3 and out twice. We're not trying to do that. So feel free to get first downs and keep the thing moving. But we're going to try to make sure that we're dictating the tempo the way that we feel best. But ultimately, it comes down to efficiency in the game. We want to be explosive, and we certainly always want to score points when we're on the field. So we'll continue to work different tempos and make sure that we're being efficient, but that's the most important thing.
When you start so many drives in plus territory, how does that affect what you're looking at as far as what play calls you're going to make?
Yeah, the game changes when you get down inside the 30, let's say. The game shrinks, and so you got to be able to play in tight quarters. The run's got to get vertical. The passes are all going to be contested, and you have to understand how that works. And so I think we were down there 6 times, 4 touchdowns and 2 field goals, I think. And we want to be at least 5, if not 6 out of 6 in terms of touchdowns. So things that we can improve on, but we all know what kills you down there is negative plays, whether it's a turnover, a sack, a negative run, TFL. So all things that we cannot do. And but there were some good things we did down there. I thought we got physical, got vertical, finished off some drives good that way. But it'll be the same this week. So Thursday is an opportunity for us to clean up what we did yesterday, which was a bunch of red zone on our Wednesday practice.
Julian Sain has 6 games underneath his belt. Is he at the point now where he's coming back and suggesting things to you like, yeah, I like this, I don't like this? Or is he just kind of letting that up to you guys?
I don't know about suggesting things, but he's he gives really good feedback. I think Julian is seeing things well. He can. I think it's to the point now where he can tell us what he likes and doesn't like in the game plan. What do you think about your footwork here? What do you see in here? What do you think about this? We'll kind of ask him those things. And I really am impressed with what he and the quarterbacks and what Billy Fessler do in the meeting room. I'm in there daily listening to the preparation, and I can tell when I go in the meeting they've already put a bunch of film work in. They've already done a bunch of it because he already knows the answers like this, and that's a good sign for a quarterback to be able to process at a high level and having the answers. And even when you have the answers in the meeting room, doesn't necessarily mean it translates on the field. It has to translate there, but it only gives you a chance if you do all that work, and he understands that. I think they do a good job of that part of it, and that has to be something we do on a week-to-week basis. And
recognizing what the other team is showing, something that he's recognizing more of as the game's going on?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And getting over there, watching the film, getting on with Billy, going through and he gets on the headset so I can kind of hear what they're talking about, what they've seen. And so what he's seeing on the film is, kind of translating well. And so when all those things are in motion, it gives everybody confidence because we know what we're getting. And then, what are the adjustments based on what we're seeing? And then we talk about the next week, the next drive, what the top 3 runs are, top 3 passes are, what we're going to do on third down, what we're going to do on red zone, so that he's prepared when he gets out there.
Be sure to check out the Buckeye Game Day Concert Series presented by the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer before every home game outside of St. John Arena in Buckeye Fan Fest. Each week features a different artist on stage 2 hours before kickoff. Get on board and book your cruise today. Visit BuckeyeCruise.com. Go Bucks and beat cancer. More with Coach Dame. We continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at Safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
The Donato's Pep Duo Pizza is back, and it brought a pal. The Donato's Pep Duo, loaded with crispy pepperoni and 3 kinds of cheese. Now get a large Pep Duo pizza for just $14.99. Also back, Donato's deliciously dippable pepperoni cheese bread. Now on the $5 Pizza Pals menu for a limited time. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's, gotta love more.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hear every Buckeye game every year. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans, power up and carbon down with AEP Energy and Eco Advantage, their 100% renewable energy plan for your home or business. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. The Buckeyes back on the road for a second straight week as they will take on Wisconsin at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison on Saturday. Time for our Inside Access with Kroger. Hey, Buckeye Nation, let's help tackle hunger by donating 2 million meals this season. You can help end hunger by rounding up during your next trip to Kroger at Ohio Stadium and the Schottenstein Center concession stands. Come on, Bucks, let's tackle hunger. And let's go back to our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions. Stanley in Orville. Somebody asked last week about the play clock rule and if it should be paused if a defense is slow in substituting. After watching what happened last week at Illinois, are there any other options than being forced to call a timeout?
We can get the personnel grouping in faster. If they're going to keep the rule the way it is, I guess that's something that we need to start doing on our side of the ball every time there's a substitution, and they walk all the way out and walk all the way off the field and take 20 to 25 seconds to get in and out of the game. I don't think it's good for the game. But if we're not going to change the rule, then I guess we have to do it. That being said, I talked to Matt Patricia about this, and in the NFL, once the substitution's made, if guys aren't moving, the referee just gets out of the way and says, "Hey, if you don't get moving, people came here to watch a game. They didn't come to watch a bunch of guys running on and off the field
or walking."
Yeah, exactly right. And that makes them run a little faster. So we'll see what happens, but at the end of the day, we'll adjust to it. We'll get the subs in faster and adjust from there.
Yeah, they had a case of the trouts, where they're just trouting on and off the field. You got to get them to hurry up a little bit. But again, that's part of it. The coach for Illinois talked about how tempo was effective against your defense, and they did have some success running tempo. And he thought, man, we should have did this the whole game. I think we would welcome that.
Yeah, I mean, they did hit a couple plays on the tempo, so we'll make sure we're getting lined up and doing a good job with that. But there's give and take to everything. You want to play in tempo, that means the game's going to be a little bit longer and more plays. So everyone has to make their decisions, but it's our job to make sure that we're lined up and we're playing fast.
This was a game where you got 3 turnovers, and that's not something that comes without a whole lot of work during the week. It had to be great to see that work pay off.
Yeah, we really have. We always make an emphasis of it, as you guys know, but on offense, certainly ball security is critically important. I mean, you turn the ball over, your chances of losing the game go way up. And so we spent a lot of time on that. We try to take a lot of chances, especially when you're playing really good defense. When you turn to the other side of the ball and you're creating turnovers like we did, 3 to 0 in the turnover category, your chances of winning go just like this. And so on the road, it's always important, but on the road, certainly it's even more important. And we call it CPR, club punch and rip. Coach Patricia brought that in, and we work hard on that every day, but certainly on Tuesdays, the first period after punt, we're working on ball security on offense and CPR on defense. And it's good to see it getting paid off, and that can become contagious. Getting your hands on balls and certainly creating fumbles.
You saw Jermaine Matthews play a little bit more nickel because of the injury of Lorenzo Stiles. Devin Sanchez started at cornerback, and you get Jermaine in there a little bit close to the action. He's effective. You saw him tip a pass, was up around it, and then you saw him get a strip sack, get involved in there. So he's getting involved in that action. He shows up that he can make some plays when doing that.
Yeah, and when you get closer to the ball, it's a little bit different. It's all happening quicker. And Jermaine has some good short area quickness. He's competitive. He's tough. Got just a good sense for the ball. Kind of a baller. And when you see him make plays like that, it's just it's exciting to watch. And he hasn't played a whole bunch of nickels in game, but he did, and I thought he played well. And so hoping to get Lorenzo back here in this game, but if we need to move Jermaine in, we will. And then based on the personnel packages, maybe there's some things that he can do inside as well.
With the flexibility like that, can that help you give more different looks too?
Yeah. When a guy can play inside or outside, it's a little bit harder to identify sometimes what coverage we're in and what's going on. So anytime that's the case, you think about a guy like Caleb Downs who can do so many different things. Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, now Jermaine. That's a defense coordinator's dreams to be able to have guys who can do multiple things. But I brought this up the other day, and I think it's something that's worth talking about. Is just when we brought in Matt, and we instituted a lot of different new things on defense, a lot of things that we carried over, but some new things with guys who hadn't played a whole bunch, guys like Caleb and Sonny who have played a lot of football. For them to be able to communicate what's going on and bring guys in, and then create confidence to go put it on the field in the first half of the season is significant. I think they deserve a lot of that recognition for that because when you have somebody like Caleb, who's back there orchestrating everything, not only with his play, but he brings confidence around him because, he's getting everybody on the same page, the way that he prepares, the way that they practice. And then when they go out there and play with that type of confidence and knowing that he's right there with them, I think that's a big part of, why we've done well so far in the first half of the season.
Who takes care of making sure everybody in the front is lined up where they won't need to be? Is there somebody in that defensive line group that kind of, looks both ways to make sure everybody's lined up, or is that, a Sonny or Arville type responsibility?
Yeah, the linebackers are the ones really who set the front. Sonny has the green dot, and he's communicating what's going on and setting the front. But all those guys have to be tied in. Certainly, the techniques, whether it's lined up on the guard, lined up on the center, lined up on the inside, the outside, and all the different fronts. And so, when you talk about Kenyatta, Caden, K-Mac, Taiwan, those guys, they all have to be really detailed in their alignments. But in terms of the communication, it comes in through the headset through Sonny, and Sonny gives it to the defensive line.
Ron in Springboro from our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions. How much is AI used, if at all, to aid research, analysis, preparation, and design of a game plan, or is it still just old school?
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a point where AI really can be used to help game plan. We're not quite there with that part of it, but AI and some of the technology is helping us with some analytics. It's giving us some information in terms of the speed of some of the players on the field with some of the GPS things, and even just with some pre-snap movements and things. So just like anything else, it's having its impact on the game. And I think there's going to be a point where, if it's put together correctly, you could put game plans together, and I think it's interesting. I really do. And nowadays you can type in all types of information into some of these systems and get a bunch of information back that's really helpful. So it's something that we're going to make sure that we're all over them if it gives us an advantage.
Speaking of that GPS, how many steps, miles, would a DB wide receiver run during a normal practice?
Oh, anywhere from I think up to 7,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think when we look at that, but they, based on the day, we'll chart that. We actually have Dan out there who has the iPad out there, and he'll give us real-time information on how much everybody's run, and I'll go over there pretty regularly to say, let's just take Jeremiah for example. How many yards has Jeremiah run? How many long yards has he run at high speed? How did that compare to last Wednesday? And then if it's higher, we kind of shut him down. So. That really gives us, in practice, information to make sure that we're not putting our guys at risk of soft tissue injuries. So it's the workload, but it's also the high-speed energy or high-speed yards that we look at.
After every practice, it seems like this is old school, but, man, we didn't do it in the NFL. But here at Ohio State, after every practice, we had to run striders or gassers. I mean, that was just part of we want to be the best-shaped team, But with some of that knowledge you have now, does that kind of take it away? I mean, you don't need to do that? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I really took this thought process from Coach Meyer when I was here with him as an assistant. And the conditioning for us really starts at the beginning of practice. And so what we do is, once we do all of our stretching, our dynamic stretching, we do our sprints before practice. And the idea on that is two things. One, it gets us in condition for the beginning of practice. But two, we shouldn't be running full speed for the first time if we're running a route or running down the field on punt. When we get into that drill, we should have already done that, and it warms up, our guys. So that's kind of our philosophy there. But to your point, now with the information that we have, we can figure out where we are, and all that comes into play. And we did see a little bit more tempo this past week, so we decided to mix some tempo into practice to make sure that the guys are getting lined up faster and making sure that we're doing our part there. So we're prepared for when teams do play a little faster against us.
Buckeye fans, this season Roosters is giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences, including tickets, sideline passes, and trips to a postseason game. 3 drawings, 12 prizes. Register today and every day at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint and the sponsor of our weekly show with Coach Day. We'll have more when we continue on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You put up with a lot, but you always hold it down for your people. You are strong. You are fearless. You are the baddest on the block. You are an elbow grease factory, a force of nature. You are not to be reckoned with. You are a ride or die, a powerhouse of productivity. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. You've earned every last drop of this rich golden lager, so raise it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Hey there, Buckeye fans. Kroger is teaming up with the Ohio State Buckeyes to tackle hunger. Kroger is challenging Buckeye Nation to help donate 1 million meals by Thanksgiving to neighbors in need. Together, we can help create communities free of hunger. All you have to do is round up at checkout now through November 23rd. Every dollar helps provide 10 meals. Visit your local Kroger for more details, and let's work together to end hunger.
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer sets sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray. It's an intimate ship with an even better experience. It's all-inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas. With Buckeye greats including Ryan Day, Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, the Boren Brothers, Ezekiel Elliott, Ryan Shazier, and more. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale, February 17th through the 24th. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
James Peoples here, running back for the Ohio State Buckeyes. You have to check out the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Buckeyes sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
Always and forever your home of the Buckeyes. Home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Join Coach Ryan Day and experts from across Buckeye Nation to preview every matchup and break down each week's game. It's Game Time with Ryan Day, presented by Huntington Bank, airing Saturday mornings at 9 on 10 TV in Columbus and statewide on OhioStateBuckeyes.com. And welcome back to our show this week as Ohio State gets ready to go on the road again to play at Wisconsin. Coach, to ask you a little bit about your opponent. I know that the focus is always on your team, but you've talked also this week, too, about going into each and every game. You anticipate the opponent, regardless of what they've done before, coming out and playing at their highest level.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got to be ready for their best shot. And, they have a good scheme. The guys play really hard. I've been impressed watching their film on defense. And so, I said this before. I think they probably feel like their backs are up against the wall. They're fighting to have a winning season. So, we got to expect their best shot. And there's a great environment there. And Camp Randall always, is a difficult place to play. So, again, it is about us, but we got to make sure we know our opponent, and that's all about our preparation.
Seems like their defensive line, their defensive front does a good job funneling everything to their linebackers, 0 and number 4, Tackett Curtis. Again, that's kind of what their jobs do. It's unselfish, but that's what they do. They run that defense, and those linebackers are sure tacklers.
Yeah, no, they do a good job up front. They're bigger this year up front. I think like 6'5", 235 in there, and they're big and strong. They know how to stop the run, and Tackett Curtis is a guy that we recruited. He's a really good player. He is very athletic and goes sideline to sideline. I think their back end is good as well. I think Hallman, we played against him. He had an interception against us last time we played him. He's a South Florida kid who's a really good corner. He's been in the system now for a while, so. I think they're a good defense. I really do, and I think they're top 10 in the country in rushing yards. So we know, when we're putting the film on, we're seeing them play against good teams. And so we got it was a good challenge for us, and I think our offense knows that. So we got to come in and certainly get a fast start.
What are some of the keys when you look at defending in the red zone? We talked about you being in the red zone so often, but some of the things that you've seen that your team has had to do and have done well with defending that short situation.
Well, anytime you can get negative plays down there, the chances of scoring touchdowns changes dramatically. So we're always looking for that. But we have to know what their tendencies are. But the easiest way to score a touchdown in the red zone is to run the ball. So we got to stop the run as always. We got to defend it inside out, knock it back. But also, understand how the game is changing and how the field is shrinking and how the routes change. You're not going to get as many vertical routes down there. And then, when it gets to third down, those are 4-point plays. And so, we spend a lot of time making sure that we're prepared situationally, what to expect. A big part of it is awareness. And then also focus, because usually it's late in the drive where you're, 6, 7, 8. We had a 14-play drive last week. And so it's easy at that point to, fatigue or to lose focus, and that can't be the case. So all those things go into playing situationally down in the red area.
Coach, we've been in more of do some screens, some jet sweeps, not a whole lot of reverses, but really you haven't had a lot of draws. That's just something that, you kind of looked at and doesn't do a lot. I mean, everybody's third and long, screen draw, it's coming, but just doesn't seem like we've done a whole lot of that, throughout your coaching career.
Yeah, we did some with Justin and with JT in 17, Justin in 19 and 20. Usually most people nowadays, they run quarterback draw. There certainly are some one-back draw. It takes a lot of work and, have to have the right look. Some two-back draw, which, we've talked about it and we've looked at it, but it's like anything else, once is it worth investing in this? You have to kind of decide what you want to do. They're all good plays. You got to figure out what fits our guys, but there certainly has been conversation about that, and I think the draw is a play that you may start to see come back into vogue a little bit now, at least going to the tailback. You still see a lot with the quarterback, and maybe there'll be some opportunities for Julian to do that here as the season goes on.
Is some of that also the time management of how much time to put into something during your practice week?
That's it. Like I say, they're all good plays. That's great. What are we going to call this week? And what are we going to get better at? Because they're up on the board, and it's a beautiful play. But if we can't execute, it doesn't matter. And that's where we have to make hard decisions, and then we got to go put it on the field.
Coach, everybody's bumped and bruised at this time of the year. You mentioned Lorenzo Styles back. You talked about Edric Houston, coming back. I know Bo, his ankle might have been a little bit nicked up there in that first half, or in the third quarter. He's kind of sat out the rest of that game. But you said everybody's good to go, and that's a good sign here for Week 7.
I think when go get this win, man. Like, let's go, everything we got, and then we have a chance to heal up for a week and go from there. But this 4 week run is an important run for us. We knew it was going to be physical. Teams were playing. It's going to be very physical on Saturday. So yeah, we got to recover, get healthy, and then go play really hard on Saturday. But I feel like we'll have a full group ready to roll, and we've had good practice this week. But once we get done with our Wednesday practice, it really comes down to how do you get yourself your body ready to go play a really physical game, because today we take the pads off and it's a little bit more mental.
From our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions, Jerry in Columbus, forecast looks wet for Saturday. Mm-hmm. Are your communication devices waterproof, and is there ever worry of them not working in bad wet weather?
They better be waterproof. Yeah, we're going to have a major problem. Yeah, I think they are. Now, the team better be waterproof, too, so that's another part of it, especially the offense. But, once you get into October, November, in the Big Ten, the weather changes, and you got to be able to handle it. So we'll have multiple rain games. We know that's going to happen, and we just have to adapt. And, we had the water bottles out. I was squirting Julian in the face yesterday, and getting Carson with the water bottle yesterday just to make sure they recognize it. But some of the best offensive games in the history of college football have been on days where it was raining sideways. So it's all about your focus and just adapting with it. You got to handle it better than your opponent. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, the wet weather cost the Commanders a game against the Bears, where Jane Daniels mishandled the snap, couldn't get the handoff. Chicago recovers, boom, they take it in. It's just those are just one play. If it's not raining, you might win that game. So all those things have to kind of come into consideration.
Yeah, it does. You got to be extra focused, more concentration, and make sure everybody's aware of it. But our equipment folks do a good job of making sure we got plenty of balls there, and and then we just got to handle it. But Carson's done it before, which is important. Running backs, CJ's played in the rain before. Obviously, the guys in high school, so it's part of the game. Something we just got to handle.
And certainly, that's something that the specialists have to be concerned about.
That's right. Yep, that's exactly right. And you just have to adapt to it. It's like anything else. When it changed, whether it's snowing, sleeting, wind, cold weather, hot weather, like all those things. It's an outdoor game. You got to figure it out, and that's part of football.
Coach, I think last time in there, jump around, you guys jumped around. You plan to do that again between the third and fourth quarters?
If guys want to jump, they can jump. I don't know. Just make sure we're out there playing the next snap and doing well. That's all.
And that you're ahead on the scoreboard at that time.
That's exactly right.
Coach, thanks as always. We appreciate your time. All the best Saturday.
All right, guys. Thanks.
That's Ohio State head coach Ryan Day. Union Home Mortgage is the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com. An equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. We are scheduled to hear from Center Carson Hinzman, a Wisconsin native, when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Experience Buckeye Game Day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium into the press box and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Hey, Buckeye fans, as the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Joint partners American Electric Power, Donato's, Kroger, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus, and supporting this cause at OhioStateBuckeyes.com/Buckeyes Care. And welcome back to our show, and we get a chance to talk with Ohio State Center Carson Hinzman, Have you taken care of the ticket requests going back to your home state as of yet at this moment today?
I would say I'm almost there. Definitely still getting a couple. I think Carnell just sent me a couple tickets, so I appreciate him. But yeah, we're almost there. Got a good little section tailgate rolling right now, so it'll be good.
40 or 50, that's in the upper range for away games and counting on your buddies to come through. So I'm good to see it.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at this Wisconsin team, are there any of these guys that you played against in high school or you're familiar with? There are a few guys on that team that you kind of have a little bit of history with?
I know a couple of guys. I know like Ben Barton on their defense line, just from when I was getting recruited there, along with Joe Brunner on their O-line. Me and him are pretty close, and both obviously getting recruited to a lot of the same schools. But a lot of those guys, I guess, probably played in a couple divisions higher than I did back in high school. But I've still seen a few of them, whether it's from recruiting or just group chats we've been put in over the past few years. But yeah, it'll be cool to go see him.
And you had a chance, I think, if I read, to play in a state championship game there at Camp Randall Stadium. Outside of the outcome, that had to be a thrilling experience.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. Besides the fact we lost on a 2-point conversion, but it was pretty cool. A little uncalled holding call, but I'm not still bothered by it, so it's okay.
Carson, we talked about the silent count and how hard that is, for you. I mean, everybody likes it when you just got to count, you just got to snap the ball, and that's the thing. But there's just a lot of communication. You got to look out now. Tell the people what you have to do when you break the huddle and you come up, all the things that you have to identify before it gets to that part of snapping the ball, and then post snap, you get that. That's when the work starts.
Yeah, no, exactly. I know there's a lot of work pre snap, and we do a really good job here of kind of detailing that out for everyone on the field. I mean, as a center, you have to identify first of all what kind of formation they're going to come out in, or whether they're in base personnel, nickel personnel, or sync. I mean, Wisconsin likes to do a lot of them. A lot of teams do a lot of them. You go up to the line, you can figure out how many big people, we'll say, in the game, how many downs we have. It's a good idea, obviously, to take a look at the shells we're running with, and then we want to identify where we want our combo blocks going. So a lot of communication goes on pre-snap. A lot of people don't really see, but that's kind of where, I guess, the magic happens of how the plays kind of get run. So, you got to be confident in what your calls are, too, because, obviously you can go out and they can play something completely different than we were expecting. Even a couple weeks ago with Washington, we were expecting them to come out in a front, and they did not do that a single time that entire game. So, got to be quick on your feet. But a lot of the guys on the line, they trust my calls, and I trust them to get the job done.
Carson, how much does it help that you've had the same two guys on either side of you as well as the same two tackles?
A lot. I think chemistry is a huge thing on the offensive line. Knowing that I can trust Phil and giving me a call, say I don't see like someone kind of pressuring up on the edge, like he can give me a call that I can communicate all the way back to Austin, or vice versa. And it's good just to have that trust, among the the five up there. And even Dilla, when he subs in a little bit, he's been doing a great job as well. I know him. He's had center experience as well, so I trust him with any call as well.
And Luke's played center too, not in games, but he practices. Who's the most vocal lineman in the huddle, or kind of on the sidelines before you get out there?
I would say it's split pretty well, actually. I think we have a pretty vocal group. We're on the sidelines. But no, Luke does a great job of getting the guys going every time. He's always giving fist bumps and stuff like that. Phil is vocal. He loves to get after some guys a little bit on the huddle or in between plays. But no, we're just having a lot of fun out there. I would say, like, when we're having fun, we play the best. We're playing fast. So if you see us out there, like, laughing and goofing around with each other, that's when we're playing our best ball.
We kind of know what the answer is, but what's it like going up against that defensive line in practice? Now that sharpens you. Yeah,
it's tough. I always say iron sharpens iron, and, man, like, there's a lot of iron out there. Especially if you look at K-Mac, that's a lot of iron, heavy iron. But no, he's been getting us better every day. Our defensive line is unreal. From the time I've gotten here even to now, we've had the opportunity to go against some really great defensive linemen, ones that are in the NFL now and ones that will be in the NFL soon. And so it's just been a great experience to go up and compete against those guys because, we always say, but the best people we're going to probably play is in practice a lot of the time. And so it's just a great opportunity to go out and get better.
Well, you see what Tyleek Williams and Ty Hamilton are doing,
exactly.
In the NFL, that both those guys start. How's it been with Coach Bowen in his first year here?
He's been awesome. I think Coach Bowen integrated, seamlessly in the O-line group. I know it was a lot of new guys as well, so not a lot of guys who had been necessarily with Fry in the past. But, Coach Bowen's been awesome. The way he's came in and, had, everyone kind of envelop that trust in him. And not only Coach Bowen, but Coach Dickey and Coach Johnson as well. It's cool to be able to have a lot of eyes on stuff because before, you'd have to go back and watch a film with Coach and something like that. But now it's like you got an eye on you every single play. Like someone's going to come up to you and give you a good coaching point or something like that. So it's been great.
You know, we hear Coach Day talk a lot about the issues that are always there, the aim at constant improvement. I would imagine that's filtered down to you guys to where you've heard it a lot and it's stuck.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And we're looking at everything. You know, Coach Bowen always says, like, don't accept in victory what you wouldn't in defeat. And so I think a lot of the times we'll go look at the film and, you know, we might have got the job done, but this isn't going to work in 6 weeks, you know what I mean, because teams are always watching. So being able to have that critical eye on every game is really important.
With 3 offensive line coaches, who spends the most time working with the centers?
I would say it's probably split pretty well, honestly. I think I talk a lot with Coach Bowen, whether it's with different kind of schemes we have this week or different kind of ID systems we're using. But I talked to Coach Dickey as well. I talked a lot of ball with Coach Johnson, with whether it's like stretch game or something like that. But I'd say it's split really evenly.
Carson, thanks for coming out. We appreciate it, and all the best come Saturday.
You guys appreciate it.
That is Carson Hinzman, and join us Saturday as Ohio State plays at Wisconsin. We'll be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 2 p.m. The Ryan Day Show, presented by Roosters, has been brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by the American Dairy Association Mideast. For Skip Mossick, Colin Behringer, Colbert Temis, and for Jim Lachey, Coach Ryan Day, as well as Carson Hinzman, this is Paul Keels. Thanks for listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.